Hi everybody, Mike here, retired mechanical engineer, and I'd like to pass on a few thoughts about these items, which are from my Suffolk Punch lawnmower. This is a replacement part off the internet, just over £5, cheap as chips really. But the first time I used my Suffolk Punch, which was actually a reconditioned model, it's a 17S, so it's quite a wide cut. I got halfway through and this thing decided to shatter. It's quite a common occurrence, and they are designed to shatter because if you get your cutting blades jammed with a stone or something, a large twig that it can't cut through, then these self-destruct before you do any damage to anything else. For sure, I didn't go over anything that I saw. I wasn't aware of anything jamming, we just stopped cutting. So anyway, I sent for a couple of these and I've now fitted one. I want to pass on some information to everybody. My thoughts on it as an engineer, and the problems with them. It comes from the fact that they are driven by 3 split pins which fit into these holes. In principle, it's not a bad drive, it works. However, with the use of a sketch, which I've made here, I'll explain what I think the problem is. These gears are plastic gears, and the split pin is a steel pin. Now, a split pin, the principle of a steel split pin is that it has a split down its length and it's able to be compressed as it's driven into a hole so that it grips tightly. So if you have a steel wheel and you drive the pin in, then no problem. You'll compress the pin and it'll be a nice tight fit and it'll drive well. The problem comes when if you drive a steel pin expecting a plastic gear to compress the steel pin, to close the gap effectively, to increase the friction between the pin and the gear to make sure it doesn't slip at any time, then you're asking a lot of the plastic. And what I think is happening, and I've taken a few measurements to check it out, is that principles of split pins and hole sizes used in steel applications haven't been modified to use in a plastic application. So what I did was I measured the diameter of the pins. I can't show you me measuring that because I've now finished reassembling and testing my lawnmower. The pin diameter is 5.2 millimeters, and usually split pins have tapers either at one end or both ends to ease insertion, because you are going to be compressing the pin. So when I measure these holes, and for those of you who may have used a vernier before, it doesn't quite come up to the 5 millimeters, so it starts off with a 4, and we go along to see where we line up with the various graduations, and there it lines up at 9. So the diameter of the hole is 4.9 millimeters. So we have what in engineering terms is known as an interference fit, and for a 5.2 millimeter split pin into a 4.9 millimeter hole, it's not a problem if this is made of steel. So when you drive this pin in, and you can't just slide, they don't just slide in, because this is when I came to put mine together, I thought, well, oh, hang on a minute, these don't fit. And then I looked at it and of course realised this is steel, this is plastic. I'm going to drive it in, and what am I going to do? I'm going to pre-stress this area around the gear. So it won't take much if you've already pre-stressed this area for this point to fracture. And I went back to my old gears, and sure enough, it's fractured at every one of those 3 holes across into the gear there. So what I've done with mine now, the one I've just fitted, is I decided to open up these holes to something slightly bigger than that, so I wasn't actually putting any stress into the plastic gear at all. And so I routed through my drill box, and the best thing I could come up with was 5.5mm. So I opened it up at 5.5mm, all 3 of them, offered it up to the lawnmower, and found that it was almost perfect, because due to potentially other inaccuracies in the assembly and the fabrication and the manufacture, it was not a tight fit, it was just a nice push fit onto the 3 pins when they were already in the drive plate that's part of the machine, part of the lawnmower. So I've now used it 4 times. No problems, no sign of any problems. I did reassemble it with some silicone grease just to help things along a bit, but I truly believe that the problems that people are seeing with this shattering, yes, if you jam the blades up completely, it will be an issue and it will shatter, and it's designed to do that, let's face it. But I think we're exacerbating the problem by pre-stressing these whole areas in the position relative to the 3 pin holes. So my recommendation to anybody before you fit it is run a drill through. If you've got 5.4, 5.3, that would work probably. 5.5 was perfect for me. So run a drill through it, see how you go. What have you got to lose? Good luck.